Everything's fine. All right. Thank you, Darcy, for joining us today. Darcy's from Trytn. And today we're going to talk about why, as an outfitter or a small business, small outdoor business, you should have online booking. And if you do have online booking, what are some of the best practices in growing your online sales? And Darcy's here from Trytn to help us navigate that area and learn a bit more. So thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm really excited to be here.
Absolutely. So tell us a bit about Trytn as a software, and what's your model? Where you guys based? How long you've been around?
Yeah, definitely. So Triton's been around about 6.5 years now. I'm definitely losing track of time, particularly this year. And we are headquartered in Chicago, but our team has really expanded to all over the US with our client partners all over the world. So it's been a very exciting few years. We really got started when our CEO was actually a tour operator himself, running boat and swimming and diving charters in the Virgin Islands, and he just wanted to sell better online. The options at that point were really difficult to use; they're really expensive, and he felt this is really a lot of solutions built by people who had never, run tour and activity operations
Sure.
before. So he set out to Chicago to solve it, and here we are today. Really melded the tech piece as well as the experience provider experience.
That's incredible because I think I do see a lot of software out there, and it's overwhelming to even try to decide what you want to go with. And there's anything from WordPress plugins to building a form, a minimum viable, like I just want to get uh, email requests, to full blown systems that are like $400 a month. So it's a little overwhelming to try to figure out like what you want for your business. So how do you decide if what software to go with? Do you want to pay for a subscription? Is it per transaction? And what are some of the qualifying questions that help you decide what software is right for you? And I suppose before we even go into that, like what's the value of having online booking if you don't have it today?
Yeah, definitely. And with online booking for experience providers, but just in general, um, the main reason for it is to increase your sales, your direct sales, and also simplify your daily operations. So decrease your workload. So if there's a software solution that you have that's not doing either of those two things, it's definitely worth looking at other options out there and exploring, because you want to make sure it's working for you and not making things more difficult or costing the operation sales.
Absolutely. And then when you talk about direct sales, and those are mostly coming from your own website and channels, do you guys, if you have an outdated website or you're not, it's going to be only as good as your SEO ranking or your site conversion. Uh, what are some recommendations that you have there for improving those?
Yeah, definitely. So to increase, direct sales, there's of course, partners that you can have to really complement your direct sales strategy. But for the direct sales, you either want to increase traffic and increase eyeballs, increase people seeing you, um, and or increase your sales conversion. So there's really two pieces to it to get those results that you're looking for. So as far as increasing the eyeballs, you want to make sure that you have partners, but also to your point with website services, making sure your website's built correctly for SEO. Um, a lot of times people use SEO as like this wizard, all encompassing word.
Right.
But really, it's just making sure the website is built to rank highly so people can find you for a variety of related search terms, mainly through Google. So Google's pretty straightforward about how these rankings work, meaning like there's hundreds of best practices that they want people to follow. Um, but a lot of time websites do not follow those because it is time consuming. So by having a network of websites, which is something that Triton does, we
Hmm.
make sure that all of our best practices are applied to all of our websites. So it really shows your organic search traffic is increasing. And we're completely transparent. We allow visibility into Google Search Console, so it's easy to see how your website's performing. And we also make it just simple and straightforward to see like year over year results and all of that. So yeah, it's really just making sure that, all of the best practices are ticked, and we're very transparent about how we do that. It's not really a secret algorithm or anything. It's
Sure.
just making sure that those main things are hit on and there's no tricking Google.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's also a long-term strategy. But one of the, I think, immediate benefits, and I'm not sure what you guys see in your data, but I would think of just flipping on online booking is the after business hour calls that you get that you're not able to get to or answer. And now you're able to convert a lot of those customers into bookings that are just going to your website, but they can't book. And now all of a sudden they have that opportunity. And read some crazy stat that like, I don't know, 60 or 70% of the bookings are happening after business operating hours. So, people are going home from work, and we see this a lot in our data, but I assume that's a huge benefit of getting online booking, if for no other reason.
Yeah, definitely. So it's those off hour calls or even on hour calls, but your team is busy. They're running towards, maybe you don't have a full time call center. So making sure that's as simple for people to book online as possible. So once they do see you and they get to you, that they're able to do that right away. There's other ways of increasing the sales conversions, which you could talk about too. But yeah, just having that availability there in case your team isn't available to answer questions, and having a booking flow that anyone can navigate and all the questions are answered up front, or as many as possible, to get those direct bookings. And yeah, there's a lot that come through overnight. A lot of people are buying things at 3 a.m.
Right.
Sometimes for the next day, sometimes for 8 months from now. You never know, but it's good to have available always.
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge I see is most outfitters. One, they're already so busy,
Yeah.
so the time and research spent to like deciding what software that you want, and then like taking all that data and converting it into putting it in an online booking system and setting it up how you want, like setting up your products, your SKUs, your availability, your time. Uh, what are some what's an easy way to do it? Do you guys do all that for the outfitter, or is that something they have to take on and spend hours trying to figure out your system? Or, talk to us about like what onboarding looks like with Trytn.
Yeah, that's a great question. So with onboarding, every operation is different, so we offer different options for it. So some clients are like, I want to learn this system, I want to dive in. And Triton is intuitive, so a lot of times they will build their own schedules. Other times, hey, I'm too busy, it's my busy season, like I can't wait to learn about the platform, but if you guys can get this set up for me, here's my information, or if you can copy my schedule that's on my previous booking system, so we can take on that load as well. So it really depends how the operation wants to work. And then sometimes it's more collaborative, like they'll set up some of it and we'll set up some of it, just depending on
Yeah.
preferences, timing, and all that.
Awesome. So we talked about direct sales. There's a component that we play in, of course, we're an affiliate for a lot of our outfitters. And affiliate is just a new term for commission-based referral marketing, and it's been happening for years. If you're a small bike shop and you tell you leave the rack cards at the hotel and then you give them a commission, is I feel like that transition is still in progress. And one of the ways we always promote our outfitters, one of the ways we're always promoting to grow your sales is by creating that collaboration network of getting that affiliate link to the local hotel or to the local shuttle business. So if you're offering bike rentals, but everybody needs a shuttle, you could put your bike rental link on their shuttle site, and the shuttle could put their link on your site. How easy is it to set up the referral? Do you guys have an affiliate marketing system on the back end? And is it easy to set up? And how does that work?
Yeah, definitely. So to your point, having like a reseller network, affiliates, whatever you want to call it, is really important
Sure.
too. Especially with partner organizations that are really boosting your sales, and it's not really high commissions, and it's kind of a win-win for everybody. So
Hmm.
within Triton, you're able to set up affiliate codes. You can also do easy traceable links. There's a lot of different ways for the operator and for the resellers to track where the sales are coming from, how much, running reports on that, and then managing the payment options associated with that as well. So it's really easy setup. There's just a few different options depending on how you want those partnerships to work.
Got it. Um, I feel like there's, like getting the business and, getting all the sales, and then just like analyzing what's happening with your business. I feel like one of the things that gets missed when you're just operating in spreadsheets or Google Calendars is tracking which of your SKUs are performing well, what's out of stock. And, if you're out of stock, that means you're just lost opportunity of sales, products that are out for service or repair. Do you have reporting in your, welcome to share it with us in the back end, but what are some of the reports that you guys have on the back end that help? The second part that you mentioned in the beginning was, optimizing your business in the back end of the operations. What are some of the reports that are helpful, and how can outfitters look at those reports, whether it's in your system or any system? What are some of the metrics that are helpful to track? And just to give you a overview, most of our outfitters are rentals, tours, or lessons. So if you have some examples of those in specific, or whether it's boat rental, whatever, it'll apply over to these activities as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I could jump into the demo piece in a little bit to show some of the reports that we offer, but
Sure.
just in general, it's really important, and Trytn offers this, to have fully customizable reporting because there's so many different ways to cut the data. So making sure that you're able to build and save your own reports. So once you've built it out and you have everything perfect, you're able to
Hmm.
easily access it. And that you're able to access your information at different levels. So whether it's by rental or by tour, or just by overall transaction, or by the buyer name or activity date, however you want to pull that information, needs to be easy and straightforward and just available. I know a huge pain point with a lot of other booking systems is that getting the exact information that you need out in reporting is challenging or limited.
Got it. So if you find exactly the way you want to track your business, you can save that report and run it every single month and have
Yeah,
month over month, year over year comparisons.
yeah,
Very
definitely.
cool. Uh, One of the things, you've got sales, out of stocks, and tracking all the sales by different uh, categories. Again, like one of the reasons for having online booking versus just doing paper based or rack cards or printed stuff is being able to change your pricing for different seasons, even weekdays versus weekends. I feel like that is such a huge opportunity out there in the outfitter business world, because if you look at hotels and airlines, car rentals, that pricing is always fluctuating based on demand and based on historical trends. What are some of the best practices that you guys have for setting up your pricing and moving to a more dynamic pricing?
Yeah, so because it is so easy on the back end, of again, the demo, but it's easy to set it by day of week or by season. It really does depend on each individual operation, but as a general trend, a lot of our operators do more expensive weekend pricing, and then give discounts during the week to push sales then. So that's definitely a common trend that we see.
Okay.
And then more important or more expensive holiday pricing or important dates. And then also the availability to manage and override your spots or your capacities. So if you know that you want to sell more for a certain day and you have the ability to do so, being able to manage that from the back end.
Okay. Oh, that's really cool. So, um, sorry, our dog in the back is attacking our cat.
No worries. My dog's under the desk actually.
Oh, that's funny. All right, that should be good now. It's so
Everyone
funny
okay?
how yeah. Well, she's doing it from the outside. Um, she was standing outside and the cat came inside. It was looking at it. Anyway, it's been fun in the RV.
That's awesome.
Um, so we talked about reporting pricing. Um, I'm sure there's ability to give coupons and lower the pricing, but Do you feel like, is there scheduling capabilities? Okay, I have this many bookings for you can see your advance, you know, bookings that are going to come in. Okay, I've got a really busy February and March coming up, and these weekends are really busy. Do you use that to try to schedule people around that, or can you assign people in advance to different tours and different, hours of the operation? Is there a people component of Triton and users that goes into the back end?
Yeah, definitely. So we call it staff management.
Okay,
So you're able to create any type of role that you want. So whether it's a guide, an instructor, a master instructor, whatever your different levels are, or driver, all those different things. And then you can assign each person to the individual booking. And it can be color coded too. So if, Jason always says blue, it will pull up on the management calendar as that. If there isn't anyone assigned to it, it can show up as red to indicate that it needs staff assigned. And then each individual staff member can set up their calendar so they're only viewing what they're assigned to.
oh,
Or they
that's
could do,
very cool.
yeah, there's different settings on there just depending on how you want it to work.
Okay, so if I'm a rafting guide or if I'm the biking guide, I can go in and see all the bookings that are assigned to me and see my own calendar and plan accordingly.
Yeah, definitely. And that's another benefit of online booking, just having everything in one place. Not everyone's going to be, on one computer or with one notepad or in one place at one time. People are accessing it from their phones, from tablets, and just, from their own homes. So maybe not on the
Sure.
work computer. So just having that single set of inventory so you can see exactly what's available at that moment, whether you have all your online bookings, offline bookings, just in one easy to use system.
That's really cool. I think that's a huge uh, optimization of the back end for just employee management, staff management, they called it, is not being, constantly telling your employees and your guides like what their schedule is going to be uh, when they have a tour, who's on it. That's huge. Um, what are some of the differences that Triton offers versus other products on the market? And if we touched briefly on the subscription versus a pay per booking model. How do you evaluate both of those and compare different software companies? What are some things to look for if you're out there comparing what's right for you?
Yeah, definitely. So first I'll talk kind of about how Triton is so different compared to the other booking systems out there, because there are a lot. Some come and go, some have been around for a while. So Triton, we really took a tech first approach, meaning our tech team is part of our founding team. So in addition to our CEO that started out in the tour space, our other co-founders and starting and founding team are from the tech side of things. So what that means is every feature, every advancement is led by people who are, looking at Triton's long-term success. Whereas with other booking systems, it's quite common to have, outsourced tech or people coming in and out, and it's just more like, okay, let's crank out this feature and leave. Without looking at how the whole system works. And that does impact things in the long term. It's kind of like building a structure of a house. If the structure is not there, it's not built to be customized and built upon in the future, it makes things really hard, if not impossible, in the long run. So
Sure.
that's why our system, it loads really fast. We're able to ship out features really quickly. We're able to make so many customizations by operator just because of how it was built and our approach to things. And that's what makes it intuitive, because we're able to turn features on and off per account, and also just tailor the experience to them. And there's a lot of different ways to do one thing in Triton, because everyone's brains work differently. Like you
Mhm.
would use the system different than other people on your team, and all of the operators use it so differently. So it's really exciting. It's a really cool platform that's just works differently than any others that we've come across and that our clients have used.
So it sounds like it's highly customizable per outfitter or per customer, but also thoroughly tested in terms of performance. So it's going to work, and you're not getting just a solution, like this is how it works, and you're going to have to adapt your business to the software versus the software adapts to what the business needs.
Exactly. Very well said.
Okay,
The
cool.
software is very adaptable. So you're actually able to go in and turn your own features on and off. You're able to customize your dashboard calendar based on what you want to see. So yeah, it's making um, a software work for you, not you trying to fit yourself into how a software box works.
Got it. And do you have like templates that could be plug and play? Because I could at the same time seems like that could be overwhelming because if I had to build everything custom or I could build something custom, it's like, okay, how much more can I do? It's got an endless black hole. So if I just have a bike rental shop or a kayaking tour, can I just do you have templates that you could just like set up, plug and play and then later on optimize things, or all that customization is required upfront to do that work?
Yeah, that's a great question. So when we onboard new clients, we ask them a bunch of questions. We look at other operations that are similar, and we turn features on and off based on that. But it's easy for them to also go in and turn them off and on too. So if
Got it.
it's like, okay, we actually did want that feature, okay, turn it on, or we want it to work like this. So the onboarding process, we really go through all of that to get to know the business. Um, make recommendations based on what we've seen, work with other people, and answer any questions. And if they have requests, if they have recommendations off the bat, that's there as
Sure.
well. So it's always
So
ongoing.
yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to come back to the how do you decide if like paper booking or subscription model of like $50 a month or $100 a month is right for you, and what are some of the factors, and what is Trytn's model too, actually?
Yeah, so Trytn's model is a booking fee. So it's a 5% booking fee, either paid by the customer at checkout for online bookings, or the operation can take it out of their subtotal, just depending on how they want it displayed. We have clients that do both, just based on their different regions or businesses and all of that. For us, we decide on the booking fee from our start, and we have not changed it. Um, because if the operator wants, they could use Trytn for free, right? And the small booking fee paid by the client or by their customers at checkout is, small. Like a 5% fee is so much lower than like ticket prices for events. When you look at different huge ticket vendors out there, it's
Hmm.
really, really large commissions, and same with airfare and all these other things. So 5% is something that customers, are willing to pay for the convenience. But then it allows free use. And a lot of the other larger booking systems out there have similar pricing models. So that
Hmm.
seems to be pretty standard at this point.
And does that include the credit card transaction fee, or is that additional? And
That's
how
a
much
great
is that?
question. So there is the credit card processing fee, which is not through Trytn actually. We do partner with a few payment processors like Stripe, PayPal, Authorize.net.
Okay.
So the credit card processing is on that side of the house, and that again depends on geographic region and things like that. Within Trytn, you are able to pass credit card fees to the customer as well if they don't want to pay it on their side. So you really, as an operator, have full control over who pays what are the fees, how it's displayed, and can play around with that.
Okay. Got it. So versus a subscription model, how did you guys decide not to charge a subscription, and what are some pros and cons of each one?
Yeah. So as far as why we decided to go with the booking fee model, we wanted to make it accessible for everybody. So a lot of operators don't have money set aside, for a monthly or annual payment or whatever it is for a booking
Mhm.
system, especially one that's constantly being invested in advance. So this way, the money is coming in to reinvest and make sure that we stay number one. Tech is expensive, especially
Yeah,
if they're experienced and know what they're doing. And make it just so that there is no upfront. People are using us because they like us. There's no like contracts or anything like that. So it just makes, it easy for everybody. It's a win-win.
sure. Yeah, my personal thought is if you're a brand new shop, I would go with a booking fee model because as you may not have the the funds up front to start paying those monthly recurring charges. Or if you are a extremely seasonal business, that's really beneficial. So you're not paying for the down months. Uh, I suppose when you get really large and you're doing, tons of thousands of dollars through this software, I can see that being maybe a higher fee. What's Is there a commission charged on every single booking that comes through online, or if it's created on the back end, is there still a fee, or or all bookings equal?
Yeah, so the online, meaning website, like they
Hmm.
click book now, they go through the booking flow, book themselves. That's the 5%. If it's made on the back end, it really depends. Is it credit card? Is it cash? All that. So if it's like
Got it.
cash or annual, that's 0, and then there's booking
Okay.
fees.
So if somebody
Um,
calls in the shop, they can go in the back end, type it in, and they're not going to charge a 5% fee on that.
exactly.
Okay,
So with
that's really
that,
helpful.
they could do invoicing from the back. They could enter in the bookings on the back end. And then we also have credit card readers through Stripe Terminal. So with the chip, so
Okay,
they're all, verified.
really cool. So there's the online booking component of running a well-optimized business, and then there's like the integrations and all the other things that you want to make sure that you try to optimize as a next step. Uh, are you guys set up to integrate with whether it's QuickBooks or digital waivers or different things? What are some other things outside of online booking that are available through you guys?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we integrate actually with hundreds of companies. Most notably, that people use most often, probably the QuickBooks Zapier integration, Mailchimp for
Oh,
marketing
great.
purposes, Smart Waiver as well for integrated waiver signatures through the bookings, and yeah, there's just a bunch of them,
Oh,
but
that's
those are
great.
probably the main ones that are used.
Yeah, because I think as you're growing through the software, the most painful thing probably is to try to, go down a path and then realize you don't have enough of the integration network and then having to go back and switch, which is really painful. And you guys probably don't want that either. So that's really great that you have that in place.
Yeah.
Uh, I wanted to open up to you on some of if you would like to show a demo or some of the cool features for Trytn. So the floor is all yours, and you could take over and uh, share anything that would be helpful in running a well-optimized business, reporting, and some of the metrics that businesses could track, that you see already in your experience are helpful business metrics to grow your online sales and just optimize your business.
Yeah, definitely. And I know we were talking about like what to look for in a booking system. So just before I turn the demo part on, maybe providing some context to it would be helpful.
Absolutely.
Definitely load speed. So both for the customers booking and on the back end when you're managing, you don't want to see those loading wheels. You want it to be quick. You want it to be snappy. Not everyone has perfect Wi-Fi, that's for sure, but you want to make
Hmm.
it so it's as fast as possible in your location, because that'll increase your sales, but also save you time on the back end.
Hmm.
You also want to be able to, as I mentioned, customize and make sure that it's intuitive, but also you want to be able to test out a system. So many booking systems will do, a really great sales demo of it, but then won't let you log in and test it out for yourself. So we always recommend, not just with Trytn, but with anyone that you're testing out, ask for a login. Play around, see that things work as were described. And then,
That's such a good point.
yeah, and then also the marketing piece. So having the ability to track whether you're doing Facebook, Google Ads, all your other efforts, making sure to look at that. So that's definitely one of the key metrics. Looking at your return on investment for your marketing efforts and just your direct sales in general. So that's a bunch of things on top of like it being mobile and that the platform's constantly advancing. If a system looks the same way as it did 4 years ago, that it should be a red flag. You want to make sure that it's constantly moving ahead, because tech is like, you don't have your first cell phone.
Right.
Even if you're
Yeah.
not into phones, you don't have your first one, the little Nokia. So things are always, pushing ahead.
No, those are really great things to look at, especially being able to try something. And, as a small business ourselves, I'm constantly looking at tools. And, the landing pages and the videos and demos are one thing, but you really got to get in there and see how intuitive it is. Because if it's frustrating within a couple hours, if you can't figure it out, it's not going to get better.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you made the iPhone analogy. It doesn't come with it may come with a user manual, but nobody's ever used it, right? So it's got to be intuitive to use.
Exactly. Usually you can figure out the iPhone only once in a
Yeah,
while. They'll throw you for a loop.
yeah, it's just the privacy.
Yeah, that's a whole other conversation.
Right.
Right.
So perfect. Let's talk about, what you want to show us in the
Yeah.
back end, just to get a quick glimpse of it. And then we will leave with your contact information and put links in the video for how outfitters can reach you and, learn more that we simply just won't have time to get into a quick online video. There's a lot more, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to jump in here.
All right. We can see it.
Can you see my screen okay?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Um, there is the ugly test mode banner, but that's just because this
It
is a
reminds
demo.
you.
Yeah. So there's some random, activities and stuff. It's really just to get an overall feel. So I mentioned a little bit about this dashboard, which is really your calendar of upcoming bookings. So you can view it by day, week, month, kind of Google Calendar looking. In this case, this is just the staffing calendar, so it's telling you that you need staffing. You can build your own dashboard. So whatever you want to see when you log in might be different than other members of your organization. In this case, there's like sales on here, but you're able to see easily what's happening. You can color code by staff. You can also color code by the actual activity. So if you can see this 2-tank dive here, how many spots are taken, also the staff that is assigned. What's really interesting about Trytn that's quite different than a lot of other booking systems is it'll show the actual start and end time here. So in this case, the tour is running from 1 to 3. If something is overlapping from 2 to 4, it'll show accurate times. If something's running 9 to 5, it'll show all day. So you really get an accurate time of what's going on. A lot of other systems, they're just blocks. So whether or not something's running for 2 hours or 10 hours, it'll show as the same piece. So you don't really get a good visualization of your day.
Got it.
Cool.
Right.
So you're able to update that. And then I also wanted to get into that reporting piece that you had mentioned a little bit. So with our reports, there's again a lot of different ways to view things. So one of our views is just sales summary. This is really more visual. Again, demo accounts, so numbers are all over the place here, but you can see how you're doing year over year by day, week, month. So you're able to quickly and easily see, oh, are we doing better or worse than last year?
Okay.
Definitely more helpful in some years than others, but it gives you a good idea because sometimes you might feel like, oh, August is usually really busy for us. And then you might say, oh, actually, it wasn't last year. So you're able to see it from a quick and easy snapshot, and then also where the bookings are coming from. So whether or not it's through the
Okay.
payment processor, online, invoicing, all these different things.
Okay. And these you can change around and have whatever metrics you want to, charts and graphs you want on this dashboard. Got it.
Exactly. So these are the most used, but yeah, you can view week, month, date, and then any other information you can customize as well.
Okay.
So going back into reports, we'll jump into the customer report. So this is just a quick and easy way to see who your VIPs are, who's coming in the most.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
can see their number of purchases, their lifetime value. We'll jump into just this Peter example here. You're able to see when they booked, what they booked, and also just their information, their email, their phone number, and then you can jump into any of their individual bookings.
Okay. Very cool.
Yeah, and you can also just export all of your email addresses into a simple Excel file if you want to like do an email blast or something.
Okay.
And last but not least, I'll jump into the report generator. So this report generator is very powerful. you're able to build whatever you want. So you can still see my screen okay here. There's report criteria, available fields, group by, and fields to include. And then you can pull it by any date range you want, whether it's purchase date, activity date, or refund date. So the columns that I have on fields to include, all the way on the right, you see the buyer name, the transaction ID number, service fees, and total. You can see that all here, and you can also total them up. You can play around with what else you're including. So if we want to see, okay, who booked this? What's the buyer email?
User, the transaction booked by, is that the shop user?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Oh, cool. So you could see which, if you wanted to run a report to, you know, show metrics by user and like which one of your guides is performing the best in sales, you could build internal dashboards and print those reports out and congratulate your guides by month or whatever it is there.
Yeah. And then you could
Oh, that's
save it.
amazing. Okay.
Yeah, you can save it. So it could be, user sales report or rep sales report or whatever it is. And you can pull it to run either by month, weekday, whatever you do. And then you can see transaction booked by. So
That's cool. That's a huge opportunity for training, I feel like, keeping your staff motivated and showing them, the more they understand the business, I feel like the more they can contribute to it. So having tools like this and whether it's motivating associates or training opportunities, this is really helpful.
yeah, and you can, depending on how the team works, you can set up commissions by affiliate. So maybe
Yeah.
you give 5-10% to someone who makes a booking for you on your team. You can run that and it'll pull the numbers for you. So
Okay.
you're really able to make this report into anything you want operationally, tracking, accounting, all of it.
Yeah, what would be cool is to turn each one of your guides into an affiliate and have them be not just a guide, but also a salesperson out there that is, contributing and selling.
Yeah, and it's really easy to pull this here. To be completely honest, I don't know what's set up
Sure,
as far as
sure.
affiliates on the demo, but you could see that these are data comms that you could pull. And we also have separate
Okay.
affiliate reporting that just makes it super easy to track it, like you said.
Very cool.
Yeah, so that's a report generator. Very cool.
Okay.
And we also help out a lot because the report generator does a lot.
Hmm.
So we're here to help set them up and also answer any questions about how that works and different implications for it. Do you
And
have any
I see
questions about?
locations there. Is that for if you have multiple stores? And what's the limit there?
You can have as many locations as you want. So
Okay.
typically with multi-location shops, like the managers are able to easily bounce around between the locations, but then the other employees only have access to their location. So
Hmm.
that's really easy to set up on the back end.
Okay. Very cool.
And
Well,
you
I
can put
see
reports as well.
options there. Just one really quick before we move on or done, but the help and support, is there integrated like ticketing system where you don't have, could we touch a little bit more on that section and
Yeah, definitely.
how easy is it to get in touch with you guys?
So with help and support, it'll bring you to our support ticket system. So you'll have someone respond to you typically within a few minutes.
Okay,
So we're definitely here to help any step of the way.
awesome. Could we get a quick demo of what a front end looks like on, uh, either rental or tour or lessons type business?
Yeah, definitely. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen for 1 second while I flip over.
Sure.
So I'm going to do a scuba dive shop. Is that all right?
Awesome. That's perfect. Right up our
Okay,
alley.
perfect. So um, with Trytn, and I'm glad you brought up on the front end, clients are able to customize what it looks like. So things like colors, fonts, that can be matching your website. In addition to that, the actual products that you have set up, you see how fast that's loading here.
Hmm.
You can gather as much or as little information as you want. So for this particular client, there's a lot of information. There's pickups, there's partnerships, and all of that is relayed here. They also have promotional pricing. So you're able to see like how much you're saving by booking online. It says online booking discount automatically applied. All of these are options. It could be really as robust or as simple of a flow as you want to do it. So looking at the calendar, it shows all the available dates, and the available dates and times will show. So if something's sold out, it won't display, it won't allow for booking. In this case, there are spaces. So we're going to go add to cart. And again, for this particular one, there are a lot of questions.
Sure.
You need to know where they're staying, the pickup times, all of that. So you're able to make any of these questions mandatory or optional, just depending on the information that you want to expect or collect from your customers. So,
and this could be different by each tour.
yeah. So each question can vary by tour. Maybe you care about their experience for some and not for others.
Sure.
You could ask questions to the whole group, like where you're staying, or by individual person. All that's really easy to set up, so we can flip on the back.
Okay.
Show a little bit more about that. I'm going to remove this participant from now, just so we don't have to fill out the other stuff here. But after you enter it in, you just put in your buyer information. You could ask how they heard about you. And then you can continue shopping. So this is really beneficial because it's really like a shopping cart. So as an operator, you can receive bookings with multiple days and multiple activities, all within one payment and one transaction record.
Okay, so they don't have to just check out. If one person wants to scuba dive, another person wants to snorkel, they could do one checkout. That's really cool. I don't think I've seen that before. Typically, that's multiple checkouts.
Exactly. It combines all of it. So you're able to do merchandise. You're able to do all these different things. And then the
And is
last
merchandise, sorry, is that integrated with other e-commerce platforms, or you can sell merchandise within Trytn, or how does that work?
Yeah, you can sell merchandise within Trytn. So whether or not it's something that people are picking up on the day of the tour, or it's something you want to ship out to them, all of that merchandise is available within the Trytn platform.
Okay. I think that could be a whole different demo in the future of how e-commerce and merch sales work. So we'll definitely touch into that.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, you just enter in your buyer information, enter in your credit card. This is what it appears if you have MailChimp. So you're able to click that there. And then any terms and conditions you can have throughout the booking process, or just the checkbox at the end. And then taxes and fees, you're able, again, to really customize how you have that laid out.
Okay.
And then you just...
whether you pay a balance due today, that seems like you could pay the whole thing, you could pay a deposit, you could pay nothing, or pay in shop. All those options are available.
Yeah, exactly. If you set it up that way. So some of our operators, they want it paid in full. Others, it's deposit only, and I'll say how much. Others will offer the option for both, like you mentioned.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. This is super helpful. Thank you. I'm so glad we got a chance to dive into the front end. And one of the things you probably didn't get a chance to cover, but you would probably agree, is that the mobile responsiveness of the software is probably so crucial these days.
Yeah, definitely. And again, that's on the customer booking side as well as the backend manageability.
And the backend,
yeah. We're finding about 50%-ish are booking online, and a good majority of our operators are, operating their whole organization from their phone. So Trytn is
amazing.
With all that capability from the beginning.
Cool. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Darcy. I really do appreciate your time. I hope that our outfitters got a lot of value out of this. I'm sure they did. And there's so much more that we can dive into. So if you found something helpful here, please leave a comment or let us know, let Darcy know about what you would want to find out about more. we'll include their contact information and a way to reach Trytn or reach us. And we would be really thankful for your time. And if you have any questions, please again reach out, because there's so much more detail here that we weren't able to cover in our 1-hour webinar.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I'm going to stop.